Game. Boom. Hello and welcome to a game of Dota 2. We are watching StarSeries, or you're watching StarSeries. And we're still in Season 7 still. We're in day number 21 of the 30 days of group stages that we have. And we are having a game with Power Rangers taking on KP or Rattlesnake International, even though they're still tagged here as KP, as you can see. Of course, I am not by myself. I am joined by two people. One of them is Nahaz. He is our stats man. You can see what he does inside the game client. He'll be providing you with all the extra information that you never knew you wanted to know, but you actually secretly wanted to know it very badly. And of course, the one that you will hear is my co-caster. It is Capitalist. Welcome to the broadcast where we waited for 45 minutes to have this game going.
Well, let's just hope that the product that we waited so long for actually turns out to be pretty awesome. This should be a good game, Kaipi versus Power Rangers. Power Rangers has proven a lot of upsets, but as you said earlier, they're kind of hit and miss. So hopefully this one will be a hit, and we'll see a strong game between two very, very good teams. We already got some bands coming out: Wisp, OD, Furion, and Clockwork all being taken away. Naga Siren first pick coming out from Power Rangers, which is a little surprising. They do give away the Bat Rider as well as the Visage away to Kai P, two very, very high tier heroes. But apparently they feel the Naga Siren's worth it, and she is a bit of a counter to Bat Rider in some ways, so that is, apparently they feel that's worth it.
Yeah, we'll see if they can put it to work. Of course, interesting thing to note here is that Power Rangers at the moment is actually highest ranked in StarSeries. The reason for that is that they have 7 wins, and they're the only team that has 7 wins under their belt. They've got 9 games played, 2 losses therefore, which is really not that much, by the way. 2 losses, still definitely having a chance to be in the top 4. Of course, you want to be in the top 4 because that's where the money is at. That's what gets you to Kiev, to the LAN finals. KP is sitting at 2nd place. They have played 7 games total. They have only lost 1 game thus far. Who did they lose against? Oh, they lost against Alliance. That's the team that they lost to. Still have to play quite a few games, though. Of course, every team in the end has to have played 15 games in total. So both teams still up for quite a few matches before we know if they're actually going to stick in that top 4 of the StarSeries. But it's going to be a deciding match. Which team will move to the number 1 place? If Power Rangers wins, they'll stay on the number 1 place in StarSeries. Should KP win this game, they will be moving to the number 1 place in StarSeries. So it's an important match for that, for those rankings. And with Weaver now picked up by Power Rangers, definitely a hero that they're going to be comfortable with. We've seen Moon on Weaver before, and he definitely is a strong one. He just needs a bit of ramp-up time. And we're going to see if they can find some decent support to match up with the Naga Siren to get that. As we have got a couple of heroes banned out. KP banning out the Marana, which is quite interesting because I don't think Power Rangers really plays that all that often. Razor banned out as well. It's all preparing, I would think, for perhaps a mid that KP has in mind. Power Rangers, they're banning out 2 hard carries that we know that Envy likes to play. Alchemist and Anti-Mage removed from the pool, so we'll see what he goes for in the end. What do you make of those bans from KP?
Interesting, because I've never actually seen Power Rangers run the Marana tri-lane, while Kai P definitely has done that multiple times. Razor being taken away, that's actually, Razor has been picked up a lot more lately, and I think it's just because he was a counter to OD, but then people started realizing he's actually really powerful by himself, so we saw that, the Aghanims, how powerful Aghanims can be on him, plus the Refresher build as well. Very, very deadly. So, apparently Eternal Envy just doesn't want to have to deal with that, and they're going to go ahead and pick up the Keeper of the Light. So they've got themselves a pretty nice tri-lane already when it comes to damage output. No hard stun coming out from either one of those supports, but that is made up by the fact that Bat Rider has a very good disable of his own. So they should be fine. If they go for a defensive tri-lane, Power Rangers shouldn't really be able to stand up against that. A Weaver going up against this sort of flat damage, it's a little bit dangerous, so we're probably just going to see defensive tri-lanes on both sides. I don't see Kai P doing an aggro try, just because of the fact that you're lacking disables here, unless they go for some sort of aggressive carry that has a hard stun, or even just one of those like semi-carries, where you just put all-out aggression in your tri-lane, but the biggest thing is you can't really have an aggro try without stuns, just because you have to get those kills. Otherwise, you just end up losing out on experience due to pulls. So.
Yeah, and then maybe maybe a bit more explaining why the Razor indeed got banned out. If they want to have one strong carry, then you don't want to have that carry drain of attack damage. We'll see though, because Power Rangers, we've seen them do this before, and we've seen them successful with it as well. Just with the Bounty Hunter, ramping up that gold real fast, get a big head start, and end the game fairly early on. And of course, that's going to be something that's needed, especially if you're up against a Phantom Lancer, because right now Power Rangers doesn't really have anything that can really deal with the Phantom Lancer all too well. Unless they're able to shut him down. Treant, of course, will help out that Weaver and help out the mid lane, whoever is going to be there for both sides, actually. And I think a lot of pressure will be for KP on that mid lane. If it's the Bat Rider, it will mean that he needs to get a fast blink. But Phantom Lancer needs some time to get his items together, of course. And that mid lane and Bat Rider, if he is there on the offlane jungle, doing that role as well, they need to be creating space for him. They need to get in that Blink Dagger fast. They need to be making sure that Power Rangers is busy with those two heroes, or four heroes if you count Envisage and Keeper of Light, while Phantom Lancer, of course, is getting his farm on.
Yep, it's you know, I'm not as big of a fan of the tree.
I know.
But Power Rangers is still making it work for them. In the past, they've got two different really good disables going into once Naga Siren and Treant Protector both have their ultimates. They've got some good lockdown. We're not looking at a BKB pickup. Like Phantom Lancer isn't really a BKB pickup hero. He goes maybe Manta is the most you can really hope for when it comes to stopping disables. He's just going to focus a lot on split pushing, and we're probably going to see like the Visage Birds, the Bat Rider, and whatever their mid is. I'm expecting something like a Puck, especially going up. It's not banned, and you're going up against a Weaver. Heavy control. Instead, they're going to go for more damage output, Queen of Pain. Either one of those is really the optimal choice here, just because they need heroes that are heavy aggression that are going to provide a lot of room to the Phantom Lancer. Power Rangers, meanwhile, they're going to go for this more dual core strategy, a little bit more heavy mid-game, a little bit more... They don't have better ganking power necessarily because the Queen of Pain and Bat Rider are sort of unmatched in that regards, but they have some really strong mid-game power with the Shadow Fiend and the Weaver both being able to output a lot of damage. And then from there just go on to late game. As long as they have a lead in golden experience, they can actually take this a little bit late, but they don't have any real good way to clear through Phantom Lancer illusions, and that's my biggest problem here. All they have is the SF ulti and that burst of damage. Otherwise, there isn't much to be able to quickly clear through illusions. But as I can't remember what professional player said to me, but it was you know, you don't have to worry about the Phantom Lancer illusions. You just have to worry about the hero. So they're able to lock him down, get some kills with that Bounty Hunter. They can very quickly snowball with this PR lineup.
Yeah, I fully agree. I have to say, I'm quite surprised to see the Shadow Fiend picked up into a Queen of Pain, as Queen of Pain is a natural counter towards the Shadow Fiend in the mid lane. But perhaps they feel like with the Treant Protector they can put anything mid that they want to, so Treant will definitely help out ZXC. Quite a bit of pressure on him to not lose the lane. I mean, even if he doesn't win it, that's okay-ish. But if he loses the lane, that means that Queen of Pain will indeed be getting maybe a bit out of control and will therefore have less space for Cheshire Cat and his Bounty Hunter. We'll see how things goes. Yesterday, of course, we had got Cheshire Cat on the offlane as well, and Moon was playing Weaver as well, even though we didn't see that much of Moon. Cheshire Cat was able to win his lane by himself, and was able to, in the end, help the game spiral out of control in favor of their team. And perhaps they can do the same thing again here with track kills. We'll see how much ahead he can get here. It's definitely a more tricky trial lane to be up against than he was up against yesterday, though, so... We'll see how things go. Of course, you are watching Starladder Star Series. It is Season 7. It is Day 21, Game 2 of 2. There's only 2 games today for Star Series, unfortunately. But a good 2 at that. And then this is, of course, our closing game of tonight. And I think that's going to be a good game to watch for sure. Power Rangers on the Iranian side. Rattlesnake International or KP on the Dire side. And we have indeed got Cheshire Cat playing a Bounty Hunter, already scouting out who he's going to be up against. And... he'll be playing on the off lane. We have got FNG playing the Treant Protector. In the mid lane, it will be ZXC taking on the Shadow Fiend. On the bottom lane, we'll have Moon farming up on his Weaver, and he'll be supported by the Naga Siren, who is played by J4. And that's everybody on the side of Power Rangers. And I will leave KP to be, or Rattlesnake International to be introduced by you.
We're gonna have to get used to that name. Eternal Envy is gonna be on the Phantom Lancer, Pilot Eye, Keeper of the Light, Aoi 2000 on the Visage, Bone 7 on his Bat Rider. and that's going to be Sing Sing in the mid going up against the SF. This is actually a pretty classic matchup. We used to see it all the time in Dota 1. The Queen of Pain versus the SF. Queen of Pain has a pretty big advantage early on in those first couple of souls, but most heroes do. It's once SF gets to level 4, level 5, that's where things really start getting easier. On top of that, he's on the Radiant side, so he's got actually a really large advantage there when it comes to mid, because he has access to very quickly pick up the middle easy camp.
Look at J4 with that haste run already forcing Sing away from this lane. I mean, this is going to be important to give ZXC those early souls indeed, to get him indeed ahead. As you said, it's very important to have a good start for Shadow Fiend, and you have to have those souls. I think this is, by the way, one of the first times that I actually see Sing Sing playing under a Sing Sing tag. I think Rattlesnake put some pressure on him so that he is now Rattlesnake Sing Sing International. So, interesting to note there, but, well... We'll see if it affects his play in any way. We have got Cheshire Cat in the meantime in some trouble. They know that he is there. They do not have sentries apart from the one that they just placed, though. That's the only one that they have. They do have Dust on the Phantom Lancer, so that's important to note. We might see them try to go for it. And I think you made the point for that yesterday, that you really need Dust on the safe lane if you are up against a Bounty Hunter, because Jet or wards just don't work as efficiently. So I think you got
particularly if you don't have disables, which neither one of these supports do. So it makes it that much more important, because it's very easy for a Bounty Hunter just to walk out of that lane. The Grave Chill coming out from the Visage and the Land Slow are not going to be enough to keep him in range in time. So really smart play picking up the Dust there.
Oh, look at this! Classic mid matchup. Even scores 50-50 for both of these. Heroes in the mid. I have to say, in general, I normally slightly favor the Queen of Pain, but it really depends if you can get some souls up. And now with 11 souls for ZXE, he should be okay in terms of last hits. Sing Sing sitting on 5-3, while Shadow Fiend sitting on 7-6, so slightly ahead for ZXE. As we already saw quite some harassment coming out. Sing Sing forced to use his Salve. He only has one Tango left, while ZXE still has one Tango and his Salve. Now only his Salve left. We'll see if he can get some first blood out of this one, as otherwise we're going to have a first blood on a Cheshire Cat, who might be in some trouble here, but the Living Armor will help keep him safe for now. He still has a Salve and a Tangle for himself as well. But that's actually the only two lanes where we see people facing each other, because Moon, he doesn't have... Really Tree?
Yeah, he was soloing up. He's just jungling. He's trying to pick up that extra experience that way, because their camps were blocked. So in fact, J4 still is unable to find that ward. It's right on the edge of the box, which is really unfortunate. But either way, he's just, I mean, he only lost a little bit of gold, and it's not that big of a deal. He's just picking up extra experience. He's making sure to throw all of his living armor to that Bounty Hunter at top. That way he can continue to be really aggressive.
Yeah, more sentry placed here at top. Cheshire Cat might now actually be first blood. In comes the Dust, the Lance, it's first blood. Envy takes it home. That one sentry, the newly placed sentry, was one that Cheshire Cat did not see coming, and that is something that cost him his life.
Yeah, just unfortunate placement there from Bounty Hunter. Kaipi's putting a lot of investment, though, to keep him out. And he's still picking up a lot of levels. And that's mainly because of that living armor. But they are investing quite a lot in picking up counters, which is the right thing to do. You don't see enough teams really invest, like the moment the supports have enough gold, picking up an extra set of counters or a Dust, and just continuing to keep them out of lane. Because the longer you keep them away from that track, it's sort of like exponentially, your win is getting easier and easier and easier. So Cheshire Cat is he may actually try and, this is about the time where you start popping your stacks as Bat Rider, but interesting enough, Bone 7 actually didn't, overly stack anything. He actually only stacked a little bit at a time and then farmed it. I think he wants to be able to go back to his lane at bottom, so he doesn't want to invest too much in sitting in the jungle for a really long time. He's probably going to go back to bottom pretty soon here. Now that he's level 5, he's got some decent levels into that Firefly. He's actually a little bit dangerous, and he can defend his tower and make sure it doesn't go down too early.
Yeah, his tower already taking quite a bit of a banging here, sitting on 300 HP. Moon and J4 making sure that it's... Well, if Bone 7 was planning on coming back to save his tower, he better do it fast, because it might be dead soon. In the meantime, the mid lane, ZXC sitting on 24-12, while Sing Sing sits on 16-7, so ZXC definitely getting ahead here in the mid lane. And I wouldn't say that Sing Sing actually lost his mid just yet, but he is not really winning it right now. Of course, once he gets level 6, if he gets himself a kill on the Shadow Fiend, that might be something that changes around. Wait a second. Oh, Cheshire Cat's just fine. I was never worried. I mean, all that harassment going on the supports here. From the supports here from Rattlesnake. I mean, Pilot level 4. We've got AOI 2000 sitting at level 3. And on the other side, we've got ourselves J4, who's level 3 because he has been sharing experience for Moon. We've got the tree for Power Rangers sitting at level 2. I have to say, I'm quite surprised that the supports of Power Rangers are actually behind those of KP, because you would expect them to have free reign in the jungle, stacking and pulling, and they're not getting the best of that.
Yeah, it all comes back down to the ward that was placed, that they actually threw 2 different counters to try and get. The Radiant pull is just so hard to be able to defend with counters. There's just too many different spots. It's too big of a box to actually be able to cover. So if you just are unlucky and place one of your counters, both of your counters in the wrong spot, there's always a third area that the counters just won't reach. You need 3 of them to fully cover the camp. So they missed out on that, and that's why they're so severely underleveled. And on top of that, Bone 7 is making really good use of the jungle still, as opposed to the Bounty Hunter, who's kind of been shut down in his lane. He's now actually roaming into the jungle. I was expecting him to try and put some harassment on Bone 7, because normally you're popping your stacks about this time, but he's going to try once again to go back to his lane and see if he can get a little bit of CS, a little bit of experience.
Yeah, he gets the lance in his face straight away the moment that he shows his face. Gets living armored as well, so that will help out. There is still 1 dust up on Envy. If he wants to try and go for this, he might actually die for this. Look at that harassment. In comes a dust. He's actually looking for it. And 1 more lance. He's not going to go for it in the end. That's going to be a dust wasted, or at least, well, it forces, I guess it forces Bounty back for now, but oh well. We have actually got FNG taking some experience here in the mid lane, while the Shadow Fiend has to go back to base. He has a haste rune, so he will get back to wherever he wants to be fast. I'm actually interested to see, he will go back to mid, right? I mean, there's not really any chance right now where you can actually gank someone. I mean, that's Power Rangers' plan. At some point, they're gonna try to gank people and kill people, but that point can actually, well, actually, never mind. Shadow Fiend is gonna go top. They are gonna try to take down the Visage, perhaps. Cheshire Cat, he's gonna go for it with that haste rune. In comes the raises, the slow is still there, but the haste rune makes no difference for that one. 1 more raise, that's gonna be a kill for ZXC. His first excursion away from middle lane, successful. Looking for another one. Raise, misses. And that's gonna be him backing off. Giving Cheshire Cat some extra freedom in the lane, perhaps, with this. And of course, giving FNG some free farm mid.
Yeah, rotating like that, though, like, just picking off a support hero is hardly worth it, though, because Phantom Lancer is still free farming this lane, and you moving out of the lane, sure, it gave Tree and Protector a little bit of chance to pick up some levels in middle, but he's so underleveled right now. It's, like, so much of this early game was harmed from Power Rangers, the fact that they couldn't pull. The more levels you get on Tree and Protector, the more effective he is, because all he is a gigantic tanky hero that gives others living armor. Maybe overgrowth sometimes can be effective, but other than that, it's just about the living armor. So if you keep him low level, you pretty much make this game 4v5.
We have, by the way, pretty good timing for Bone 7 to get his Blink Dagger ready. 8.5 minutes. And comes in his snare, but Sing Sing actually races go through as well to Riptide. That's going to be a nice kill for Power Rangers to get. It's now 2-on-2. Of course, we have to remember that one of the kills on KP is actually not a kill. It's a, well, it's a tree dying in the jungle. But with the Blink Dagger now up on Bone 7, we might get some extra aggression going from KP, because basically they haven't really tried to go aggressive. They haven't tried to get any kill shots. So when they actually start to try that, we might see a change of pace. And with the Sonic Wave up for the Queen of Pain, with the Barrett having his Blink Dagger, that's the ultimate recipe to get yourself a fast, easy kill on actually whichever target you choose to. Even the Weaver would die from that harassment at the moment. Moon, who actually has a Hand of Midas ready. I'm quite surprised he doesn't use it, but for that wolf, well, he'll use it for this one.
Yeah, Moon needs some sort of way to be able to outfarm this Phantom Lancer. Just because of the fact that Phantom Lancer farms so quickly and is a much harder carry than Weaver, he needs some sort of advantage going into the mid game, and he's not a hero that can actually be aggressive early on, such as something like an Alchemist. You know, you have to sit in your lane, you have to farm up and pick up your Lincolns, and, well, this game, I mean, the biggest thing is the Batrider. That's the only reason he would actually go Lincolns. But if he wants to take a chance, maybe just go straight BKB, you've got a lot of magic damage, so if you're grabbed by the Batrider but you have your BKB activated, you're not taking any damage besides the Phantom Lancer, maybe. And that's not a lot to talk about. You're still going to be able to time-lapse by the time that disables down.
Cheshire Cat in some troubles. In comes the lasso. Living Armor's already there. Leeching might actually keep Cheshire a little while longer. The track giving some extra speed, but the Soul Assumption still finds him. AOI gets himself a pick-off. A lot of resources used for that. The lasso, the dust, but it was worth it in the end, getting him an extra kill. And of course, shutting Cheshire down means shutting down or delaying more and more track kills for Power Rangers, and they need those track kills to get themselves up to speed. As we have Moon, well, fighting up against the Keeper of the Light and Familiars, actually. But he's still getting last. He's still highest on net worth, by the way, Hand of Midas MVP, and he's actually gonna get a Familiar death right now, so 100 extra gold for Moon right there. And time-lapse to get himself back on full health. In comes Cheshire Cat. The sentry word already placed. Bloody Light will try to help out, and actually Pilot Eye calling some extra people to help him out, and that actually should be enough. Yeah, there we go. AOI gets called. Moon is in trouble. Sing can throw it on the Sonic Wave. Oh, it's almost enough, but not enough just yet, and he lives, and he gets himself out. In comes on his snare. Up on AOI. Cheshire Cat and J4 getting stunned up by the Familiar. Illuminate will miss. Cheshire Cat running for his life. Bottle charges keep him up. J4 trying to delay people from chasing down his bounty hunter. He might give his own life for that, but that would be worth it. And down he goes indeed. But at least he saved the life of the bounty hunter, and I think maybe also of the Weaver, so he buys some time for them to get out. Let's see if it paid off, because Sing is not yet done now. He's done. He moves out of the jungle. A lot of rotation for one kill on the support.
Power Rangers really doesn't have a way to be able to, like, there's nobody there who could teleport to that lane. And that's going to be a consistent problem with Power Rangers. If Kai P with their 2 or 3 heroes, Vistage, Batrider, and the Queen of Pain, those 3, if they get really aggressive and they're diving towers, there's no one who can really respond to that. The best one being Naga-san, but other than that, like, a Weaver teleporting in isn't going to stop people from dying. Same goes with SF and Tree and Protector, probably, unless he's able to activate his ultimate. There really is no moving around and getting those disables off from Power Rangers. They're really lacking in some hard stuns, in some nukes, and they're really just going to have to take this aggression coming out from Queen of Pain and just survive and go into the mid-game with a lot of damage. That's their biggest advantage, is they have a huge amount of damage potential coming out from both an SF and a Weaver pickup. The Bounty Hunter being able to do a bit of burst physical damage as well. I just feel that they're really lacking in nukes, and that's the problem with picking up a Tree and Protector, is that if he doesn't win you your lanes with living armor, which the idea is right, like SF versus Queen of Pain, there's a serious advantage to be able to give that living armor to him. But he focused all his attention on the Bounty Hunter, who wasn't actually able to win his lane through it. He actually stayed really under level, and the living armor didn't change anything. So, effectively, two different heroes were shut down because of that.
Yeah, and at the same time we have the supports of KP, even with, you know, walking around trying to shut that bounty hunter down, they are still ahead of the supports of Power Rangers. We have got no level 6 yet for J4, who really needs to have that level 6, because you really want him to have that song. By the way, Pilot Eye is calling back Bone 7 into the bottom lane. They want to go for J4, and they will be able to find him, and that means that they're going to be able to kill him up before he reaches level 6. I say they will reach him, but there we go. I was going to say that would be quite surprising if he wasn't going down there, but Moon TP's in. He wants to still go for something. Sing taking a lot of harassment here. He might actually go down. He will. Trade not favorable for KP right now. Or Rattlesnake, my bad. AOI still running for his life right now, flying for his life. Blinding Light will help him out, but Moon's still not done chasing. We'll change targets though. We'll go for Bone 7 indeed, who's already tracked up. The extra speed giving Cheshire Cat a bit of a hand there as well, chasing him down. And that's going to be a track kill added to the board for Power Rangers. And in the end, that's actually favorable. I mean, you might not have your level 6 on Naga just yet, but you get yourself 2 kills on the 2 targets. So the 2 heroes that we talked about should be the ones to buy time for that Phantom Lancer to get big. And that's a big deal for Power Rangers to get. And they get a tree that's level 6 right now as well.
Yeah, that was really important. And now with the Shadow Blade, while they may not have the best potential to be able to turn around, turn around a team fight, because they're lacking some hard nukes, They have the SF, who now picks up a Shadow Blade. 3 heroes on their team extremely good at chasing: Weaver, Bounty Hunter, and the Shadow Fiend. So if the team fight breaks and Kaipi has to retreat, they're easily going to be able to pick up 1 or 2 extra kills off of that. So that's something that Kaipi really has to keep in mind when they overextend themselves out, is that they have to actually, get back. And that's going to be opening for Bounty Hunter and Weaver to do their sort of consistent chase damage that they excel at. So they have to be careful with that. They still need to shut down the Phantom Lancer, though, because he already has Drums and Yasha. Eternal Envy is farming really well in this top lane, bouncing back and forth between the lane and the jungle. I think the SF had the right idea. He went to top. They need that damage just to be sitting in that lane. Something that Phantom Lancer is actually a little bit scared of, where all you need is just 1 or 2 supports to rotate over, and they'll be able to pick off kills.
Oh, like this? Like this? Both 7 already dead. That's a track kill. Shadow Blade used for that for ZXC. First time that he showed his face with that one. We have got the Soul Surfer still hitting. I'm not quite sure why OA is still there. He gets a track. Some extra hit. 1 extra raise. That should be a kill. Shuriken Toss. Not enough just yet, though. Can he get it? Yes, he can. Double kill for ZXC. Walks past the tower like it's nothing. I mean, he always walks like he's boss mode anyway, but yeah. He earned it this time. Double kill for ZXC, and it looks like they might be getting their last tier 1 tower for Rattlesnake down as well. I mean, that's a lot of map control that Power Rangers would get with that. And that's something that they really need. As Moon, by the way, is still fighting up against the Keeper of Light, who is still supported by the Familiars.
Again, they need to be careful, because once Bounty Hunter hits like level 12 is usually the height of his power, because he has maxed out Janata and Shuriken Toss, and he's got level 2 track. He can start hunting down the Phantom Lancer. So if they're feeding away these kills and they're really boosting Bounty Hunter's experience, it means he can come in and start hunting the Phantom Lancer earlier and earlier before Phantom Lancer has any real stats. So they really need to keep an eye on that, because Phantom Lancer is a very, very easy hero for Bounty Hunter to gank. There's no real way to remove track. He's a squishy hero that doesn't have an escape mechanism. His only escape mechanism being going invis, and that's what track takes care of. So, shutting down the Bounty Hunter, they did a good job in lane, but now they're feeding away some kills, and they cannot afford that.
Now we have a smoke up for Power Rangers straight away. They are looking for more kills. They know they have to keep the pace up. They have to keep the kills up and get more track kills, even if it's not the Phantom Lancer. As long as they're keeping their heroes ahead of the Phantom Lancer, they're still having a good chance of trying to end this at least fairly early for their doing, at least early enough for Phantom Lancer to not be an issue. And they might try to dive a tier 2 tower for this. AY sitting behind it. We have got Sing Sing here as well, though, but from behind we have got Bounty Hunter and J4 actually from the high court. There is a song available as well. They might try and make a move with the song. They would catch out 3 people with that. Not quite sure if it's a guaranteed win, though, because I mean, next to a tower means that people can TP in anytime they want to. And ZXC is not actually there to do the damage for them, so... They do have Moon there, which is quite surprising. Moon normally is not one to show himself in fights this early. Moon, who, by the way, has got his Lincolns ready. And we're still seeing Cheshire Cat, FNG, and J4 sitting silent, but they won't be finding anybody anymore. Everybody of Rattlesnake is moving towards the top lane to sit behind Envy just in case, because they haven't seen anybody of Power Rangers in a while. So they must be worried as well, like, where are they? Are they ganking up our carry? We have to protect him. And they do, but they might lose their tier 2 tower bottom for it, where Power Rangers moves to afterwards.
Yeah, Rattlesnake is just going to avoid a lot of these team fights and really focus on using the Keeper of Light to move the Phantom Lancer around. And the more that he moves them around, the more Power Rangers is going to kind of split up, and that leaves an opportunity for Batrider and Queen of Pain to pick off heroes. But they can't really do much about these 5-man pushes this early on, especially since SF and Weaver have a lot of farm. They picked up free farm in lane, which matches Phantom Lancers, right? Phantom Lancers free farming also in his lane. The unfortunate thing being that Weaver, who picked up a Midas, so obviously free farm plus free farm and Midas, that Weaver has an advantage there. And then the SF being able to pick up 3 different kills and 1 assist, and it's an SF. Like, you're always going to be able to outfarm pretty much everyone on the map. So those two actually have a higher net worth right now than the Phantom Lancer. But they're definitely on a timeline. They're definitely on a timeline. They can't let this game go too late, otherwise the Phantom Lancer is just the cancer is gonna grow, and it's gonna be 1v5 They have a lot of damage, and they're already starting to utilize it by pushing down some towers. Really, really smart. They need to take map control, so that way the Keeper of the Light feels more and more threatened because what he's planning on doing is Phantom Lancer is going to push on top, and Keeper of the Light is going to try and hide himself somewhere in bottom, and he's just going to recall him to the opposite side of the map once they feel that Phantom Lancer is in danger. And they'll just keep doing that back and forth, back and forth. The more map control you take, though, it makes it harder and harder for them to do that. They have less vision of the map, and there's a greater chance of them being picked off.
Yeah, they're definitely looking solid now. Have to keep on doing what they're doing as, well, that's 200 extra gold for ZXC. Familiar's no match for the Shadow Fiend, for sure, as he's now sitting on 2,700 gold. But we're gonna see if Power Rangers can actually keep on at it. I mean, at some point, Rattlesnake will take down some towers. I mean, there's no towers down yet on Power Rangers, and as we noted yesterday in one of the games, that once those towers start falling, that's all extra gold that Rattlesnake is getting on top of already be able to get to that side of the map. So when that happens, as we have a last two, J4 picked off. Wow, Naga Siren sounds really sad when she dies. Says, no. Sorry, distracted. But
they're finally able to pick him off.
Yeah.
Somebody off, but Batrider, again,
support.
like utilizing your ultimate in order to pick off a support, it's not that big of a deal.
Nope. It won't shut down Power Rangers just yet. It might in the end perhaps give it time. No, never mind. Naga Siren solo level. She's level 6. She's already back alive again, so she's ready for action. We have got Power Rangers taking control of the Dire Jungle, Moon clearing out the Dire Jungle as we speak, as we have some drums up for Cheshire Cat. We've already got the phase boots up, of course. Kind of curious to see what the Shadow Fiend is aiming to get with his money, if he's just going to go straight off BKB once he has all the gold for it. I think that might be a good choice. He will, of course, still get Lasso, but as you pointed out earlier, as long as you are having your BKB on when the Lasso hits, at least you're not going to take any extra damage, apart from that of the Phantom Lancer. And I think Phantom Lancer, who is going now for the Fusel, he is not going to be in any fights until he actually has his Diffusal, I think, because he can't afford it. He needs to farm more. He is the one that is supposed to be saving this game for KP, supposed to be winning the game for Rattlesnake. And he needs farm for that. More farm than he has now.
Mm-hmm. The hardest thing for Power Rangers to end this game is cracking open the base. They don't have... they have some decent tower killing heroes on their team. A lot of physical damage coming out from both the Weaver and the Shadow Fiend. But the biggest problem is the fact that or Rattlesnake has a really good turtle team. Like, they have good pickoff heroes with both Batrider and the Queen of Pain, meaning you can't really separate and push all the lanes into the base at one time. There's a good chance you're going to get picked off, especially by the Batrider. And you've got the Keeper of the Light, a hero obviously able to clear through waves very, very quickly and help defend. They just need to finish off this last tier 2. And they're gonna try and keep all the lanes pushed, and that's a big thing for Rattlesnake, is they have to keep at least one lane consistently pushed out, so it forces Power Rangers to move around the map and frees up more farm for them. If they get locked in, it gets harder and harder to going for the tier 2 right now. Actually, Keeper of the Light teleporting out. It gets harder and harder when you have this lane pushed out at bottom. You have all of this distance to travel, but if you're able to lock them in around their base, it's very, very easy to just go from one lane to the other and constantly keep up that pressure, denying the jungle away from Rattlesnake and denying a lot of farm. It just slowly kind of starves them out and makes sure that the Phantom Lancer doesn't get big too quickly while they finish up their last items. And that's the big plan for Power Rangers right now. I don't feel that they can go up base anytime soon. They definitely need an Aegis, and maybe then they'll try and force a fight inside. But if it goes poorly, they just need to back up and continue to farm.
Yeah, it's a pretty boring Dota from their point of view, but at least we know that Power Rangers needs to continue to fight kills, so they are the ones to try and make things happen. They did lose their tier 1 tower on the bottom lane just now, so that will make them lose some control over their own jungle, but considering they already picked off all the outer towers right now for Rattlesnake, they're doing quite okay in terms of map control. They've got some wards up, mostly in the mid lane and one in the jungle, but that's actually it. One ward is up for Rattlesnake actually on the top lane, but it's a very defensive ward actually to just see who comes into their jungle from that point. Those are the only 3 wards that are up on the map that are actually observers. Moon going for the aggressive build after having his Lincolns ready, going for the Desolator, able to pick off everybody real fast. I mean, everybody is fairly squishy. If you actually find the right Phantom Lancer at the moment, he is fairly squishy. On the side of KP. So Moon is going to be able to, if he is allowed to just run around and just not get disabled, then he is going to do tons of damage, and those supports are not going to live long through that. And those supports play a very big role in this. I mean, we already knew that Rattlesnake don't have that much disables. So, for example, familiar stuns are going to be really important. Moon can now pick them up with one Gemini attack. We already know that Shadow Fiend can pick one up in one shot from his Shadow Blade attack, as he now is going for the Roshan. I mean, you can do that. You have got enough damage for that. You, of course, got the Necro Mastery, or sorry, the Presence of the Dark Lord to get that minus armor there up on the Roshan. Looks like Rattlesnake might try to fight this, though. I mean, they got some good stealing, Roshan stealing abilities. J4 goes for the Song. They want to try and take this fight. CXC, is he gonna charge up his ultimate? Nope. In comes an Overgrowth still. That's gonna be Keeper of Light already picked up. Bone 7 flies himself away up the high ground and snare up on Sixty, who goes down. Requiem of Souls and D still casted. AOI gets tracked up. Not quite sure why he came back, but he goes down as well. 3 pickoffs. Just out of the blue, buyback from a Keeper of Light. That's needed. I mean, Illuminate's definitely a good way to stop pushes from happening, but I'm not quite sure if that's enough for now. Fortification gets forced out. Could this be the end of number 1 Rex already? 20 seconds.
I mean, it's looking like it.
Yeah.
Really smart play. Power Rangers pushing in while they're down. Instead of just trying to finish off Roshan, they know they can always go back. So they're going to take a Rax and then back off. Finish off that melee. Unfortunately, Cheshire Cat, he's going to get caught out. But still, melee Rax, they got what they wanted out of this, and then they're going to back out.
Yeah, they do maybe lose ZXC. He gets healed though. The dust pops, and that's BKB turned on ZXC. He runs for it, and Snare comes out from J4, trying to save his teammates. Moon having the link, it's already popped, and Sings, he actually blinks in to die again. He just got himself back. Moon will still get picked off by AOI. That's at least something. They will get the tree as well, unless he can make himself invisible, which he can't because he didn't pick it up. He'll lose the gem as well. That's actually a pretty big deal right there. But they do get the Rax. They lose Moon. They don't lose ZXZ, which is of course very good. But I think that Power Rangers is going to be fairly okay with the result. To say that they're happy is the second thing, but fairly okay, unless they will lose the Roshan, which will put KP, Rattlesnake back on the map a bit, or at least allow them to have more time for their Phantom Lancer to farm up, because I don't think Power Rangers will really want to try and fight up a hill where they know that someone has an Aegis there as well. But they're gonna try and fight it. They're gonna come in right now. ZXC already landing down some tracks, backing off from Bone 7, who still has a lasso in store for someone in a couple of seconds. It's got that Force and Blink. Not using it just yet. Roshan dropping lower and lower, and with especially the medallion of AOI helping out. In comes the lasso, catches out ZXC down to the low ground. Doesn't work out though. Well, does actually. Gets himself the kill. Bone 7 has to fly himself away. 46 HP will live. Buyback from the Shadow Fiend. Roshan gets himself a kill. By the way, that was a kill for the Shadow Fiend. As in, Roshan got the kill on the Shadow Fiend. Bone 7 did not. And this means that Roshan lives. I'm not sure if he will still die. This is gonna be KP, and without an Aegis backing off, they know that they can't fight anymore. At least they forced out a buyback. It's something.
Yeah, Power Rangers is really impressing me. Like the fact that when they originally tried to do Roshan and J4 saw that opportunity, they knew that Kaipi, the Rattlesnake knew that they're doing Roshan. They were kind of grouped out. They couldn't afford to let Roshan go because that would allow them to go uphill without having to risk too much, because you're pretty much guaranteed to win a team fight when you have a mid-game advantage and you have the Aegis. So they can just try and, have a throwaway kind of team fight in middle. If they win, great, they take Rax. If they don't, they have the Aegis to be able to fall back on, and they just retreat with a minimal amount of losses, probably even trade kills. J4 saw that opportunity to go forward with his Naga, catch 3 heroes out with a Song of Siren, and all of a sudden, they're forcing a team fight that Kaipi never intended to take. So really good play, and then on top of that, taking going immediately to middle and taking that melee Rax, the buyback from SF, protecting the Roshan, all really smart plays. I'm more and more impressed with with Power Rangers every game I see them.
Yeah, very strong coordination as well. I mean, these players have been playing together for quite some time, and it shows. It just shows. They know, like, as you said, J4 went for the initiation. Everybody was there right behind him. They knew exactly what they could expect from him, as Moon will try to so harassment on the tier 3. He's okay with that. He has an Aegis, so he's not even going to try to use the time lapse until loses that Aegis. As we have got, I mean, Envy is still trying to push out as much as he can. He has not been able to take down any towers by himself just yet, apart from the bottom one, which he actually got some help for. He might be able to take this one though, as Cheshire Cat. Nice attempt to deny there, but ends up failed. The, yeah, was funny. But that's at least a tower that they are able to take down. That's some extra gold for Rattlesnake that they definitely need. But look at the difference in net worth right now. 1,600 gold for Moon in net worth, while Phantom Lancer sitting at 11k. Or 60, and I mean 16k of course for Moon, because 1,600 is really not that much. But 16k for Moon, 11k for the Phantom Lancer for Envy, and it's showing right now. We have got 10k gold in favor of Power Rangers altogether, 4k experience in favor, which is not that much, but considering the kill score is even, it's still pretty substantial. And it's yeah, it's working out so far for Power Rangers. How long do you think they can wait with going in for another lane of racks? Because I mean, as we already said, there's still a time bomb ticking in the hands of Envy.
Well, it depends on how well they're able to address the split push. Because the split push is getting harder and harder to deal with. But they still have tier 2s up. They still have a lot of defensive capabilities. Uh-oh. Courier, it's gonna get sniped out here by Bone 7. No, little Courier, no. They lose that. It's rather unfortunate. But Cheshire Cat, unfortunately, just doesn't have enough damage to sit in an off lane and make sure that Eternal Envy can't push. He doesn't have enough damage to be able to pick off the Phantom Lancer, and it is like Eternal Envy isn't scared of him at all. So they have to actually put some serious commitment there. So whether they go Boots of Travel here, or if they don't try and address it with Boots of Travel, they have to go for an all-in push before Aegis goes down. Already we see the tier 2 going down, where Eternal Envy just picked up a tier 1. Now ZXC may get picked off here by Bone 7, who's just waiting in the wind with his Mask of Madness. Yeah. That's going to be an easy kill.
That's a very easy kill indeed, and that's going to be a kill that has no buyback, because he already used buyback earlier on. So it is still a cooldown for another 2 minutes, even though he has the gold for it. We do have Moon still pushing on the top lane, is actually going for a heart, needs to be surviving if he wants to try and go for these pushes. I mean, he's really trying to make use of that Aegis to try and make sure that that tier 3 tower goes down. He's taking a lot of harassment for it, time lapses now. Gets himself out as the moment that he sees Bone 7. I mean, they know what to do. It's just very tough right now, because maybe it's fairly a bit too late. Phantom Lancer, he is so big right now that he is indeed pushing already to the tier 3 tower. Tier 3 tower is actually going to drop. Cheshire Cat cannot stop that from happening. The siege creep from the low ground will try to finish it up, but at least Cheshire Cat gets a deny in. They will also get the tree perhaps here. Soul Substitute, not enough tree runs for it. He's still not able to go invisible, by the way. But yeah, that's gonna be another kill picked up for KP. They are starting to get their control back. Even with run regs down, we know that it doesn't matter. If you have a Phantom Lancer, he can push the lanes out. It's gonna be okay. It's just a matter of holding on, and they are definitely holding on, and even then some, because they are doing really well. Look at the gold graph drop back from about 11k to now already 6k. Experience graph shows the same story, and right now Power Rangers, they might be in some trouble.
Yeah, and this game is all going to come back. If Power Rangers loses it, there's one very key moment. It's where they had Aegis, they had 3 heroes bottom trying to push into the base, and ZXC got picked off at bottom. If ZXC had been with them at that bottom racks, trading is actually favorable to Power Rangers, just because of the fact they've taken down 2 racks, right? All they have to do is get a 3rd racks, and they're done. So all they have to do is just 5-man top. And Eternal Envy's going to have a hard time pushing up against the bigger creeps. He still has a tier 2 at bottom he'd have to go through. So if they'd actually, if Eternal Envy had fully committed, they would have traded, and Power Rangers would have been fine with that, because they're one step closer to ending the game, and that's the biggest thing. Here now, they have to push in top because it's so threatened that they're not sure if they can actually take a trade. If they all go in bottom, Eternal Envy is going to be able to kill that tower guaranteed, and they may not even be able to defend. Eternal Envy will kill the racks, come back, and they'll have a team fight. And if they lose that team fight, that'll be pretty much the end of the game, because they'll be 1 racks even, and they're going up against a very farm Phantom Lancer. Here, they have to go all in at top to make sure that Eternal Envy has to go through a tier 2, and they have to commit. They have to commit to taking down this tower. They have the whoa, they don't have the Aegis anymore. It just went down. Ooh. That's a serious loss, and Power Rangers still, they have to go for this tower and hope for the best.
Well, they're gonna try for it. In comes the fortification already. Some tracks being sent up. In comes a Blink last 2. They really want to have Cheshire Cat. The song is already off though. Is it gonna be in time to save Cheshire Cat? I think it will be. He lives for now. In comes another Illuminate. J4 taking a lot of harassment. Sing Sing blinking himself away. Will be staying alive. Pyrelight die, getting a rest. Pops Ghost Scepter will be living as well. In comes Envy, and down goes ZXC already. Even with his BKB turned on, cannot do anything against the might of those illusions. J4 will be next. Gets picked off there as well. Moon trying to do what he can. He's actually running inside enemy base right now. I'm not quite sure why Time lifts himself away. So just Mary chase around right there. Should be able to get himself away just fine. Track goes off as well just in case, so make sure that they get that extra movement speed should they chase. Not chasing right now, but they don't lose their tier 3 tower. They don't lose any heroes. And they actually lose their Shadow Fiend and their Naga Siren. That's maybe even the start of the end for Power Rangers.
It is. I would say Rattlesnake is actually in the lead right now. They're still slightly behind in gold and experience. Actually, not experience at all. Slightly in gold. But they've already demonstrated they can take one team fight. They really wasted a lot of time for Power Rangers there. Pretty much pulling them into the base. They did minimal damage to the tier 3. They got caught out just so far in as a team that it just allowed Rattlesnake to pick them off one by one. They needed a more grouped up team fight. And what they really need, unfortunately, it's just so tough to do. But this Bat Rider. It's the biggest thing is the Bat Rider being able to grab somebody. Before the Naga Siren ultimate went off, he drugged them away with the Mask of Madness and the Force Staff, got out of range in time. And that was the biggest part of that team fight. So Bone 7 with a really good initiation there. Naga Siren just a little bit slow on that counter initiate.
Yeah, and now we have Envy picks himself up, a butterfly off the bat, so it's like right now you cannot be brute forcing yourself up the high ground anymore on Rattlesnake's base. Power Rangers need a different plan. They need a new Aegis for starters, or pick someone off before the fight stops. Be that the Bat Rider, be that the Queen of Pain. I even think the Bat Rider or the Phantom Lancer are the only two that they actually can afford to pick off. Because with the Bat Rider, as you said, I mean he's able to just make the fight 4-on-5 anyway. So yeah, Bat Rider picks up a Shadow Blade now as well. Enemy's still pushing bottom. He has got a TP scroll on his back. We do have Power Rangers. They're gonna try again. They need to try again. They can't afford to let this game go very much later because they can't win up against a very fat Phantom Lancer. But this Phantom Lancer already pretty fat. Hasn't died a single time. Has actually been involved in 8 kills. And is now on par with the net worth of the Weaver, which of course was very far off just a moment ago. The heart is there for Moon. But is it going to be enough, and is it going to be, are they going to be doing something that's going to be worth losing their bottom racks for? Because they have to be prepared for that. The pipe goes up, Blinding Light's still there as Illuminate flies over. In comes the last two already, gets himself Cheshire Cat. Is the song going to be in time this time? It might be, it's not even there yet. Cheshire Cat will, however, live. In comes an Overgrowth, does hit up on Sing Sing. BKB turned on, here comes the Wrecking of Souls. Sing Sing gets picked up. That's going to be 1-for-1 trade, and Cheshire Cat still dies to the Queen of Pain herself. We have got the tower under some harassment though. Moon and ZXC, they know what they need to focus down. They know they need to focus down the racks. They have already lost their own racks on the bottom lane though. Envy never came back, and it seems like a Rattlesnake is able to defend their base 4-on-5. ZXC alive for now. Living Armor keeps him alive a little while longer, but he will get picked off. That's a double kill for AOI 2000, and the rest of Power Rangers have to go back to base, have to try and salvage what's left of their top racks, which is only the ranged racks right now, and the Phantom Lancer illusions might actually be able to pick those off as well. Barely living, but the bottom racks, of course, going down in that push, and they only get a tier 3 tower to show for. That is not a worthy trade whatsoever, and it looks like Envy gets himself a solo kill here as well as he picks up FNG, who was still on his way back for top, who still, by the way, has not finished up his mechanism. He is sitting on this headdress and buckler for over 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous considering the fact you've taken pretty much every single tower on the map. Middle, top, all that's left is a tier 3 and a couple of tier 4s. The fact that you really can't pick up mechs is pretty sad, honestly. So the Power Rangers, like, they had this game, they've just made some slight errors, really just a small error, but that's the power of Phantom Lancers. It doesn't take much for you to be able to take control of the game again. They're going to try and take Aegis here, and looks like they've got the Naga Siren sitting really far back, though. He's not going to be able to Song of Siren. In fact, he doesn't even have it, and they're going to get a pick off on Moon.
No, time-lapse just in time, and Aegis goes away with ZXC. A nice sneak for the Roshan, and I guess wrong one to lasso, or at least not enough damage to take him down. We do have them lose the range rack, so I mean, this is the reason why Phantom Lancer was so hated by teams, yet so loved by some others, because they just offer, like, if the game goes long enough, it just offers this strength right here. I mean, yes, he went in himself now as well, but just his army of illusions would have been able to do the same thing. We do have everybody of Power Rangers. They're just going mid. They're just trying to take down the buildings. Can they actually take down these ranged Rex? I would expect them to maybe go for the tier 4s. We already have ZXC hitting on the tier 4s. They just want to end this game right now. Envy is doing the same thing in the base of Power Rangers, though, and he's already picked up one tier 4, taking the other one right as we speak, and the Rex, the throne, are dropping now as well, as in the meantime the tier 4s are still standing for Rattlesnake. They're delaying the game. Down goes the Tran, down goes the Naga, and down goes the Aegis, and down goes the throne. Buyback from J4, but the GG has already been called. This is gonna be Rattlesnake still taking the game, and that means that we are gonna see Rattlesnake, yeah, there we go. That we are gonna see Rattlesnake on top of the charts for Star Series Star Ladder. They get themselves a #1 spot and kick Power Rangers off the throne in Star Series Season 7. What a game.
Really well done. Well done by Recovery Power Rangers. It just goes to show they're definitely a really strong team. They executed well all game long. Just going into the late game, it felt like they're a little bit of inexperience. It felt like they just weren't really sure what to do there. They didn't have a clear laid out strategy, and that's the hardest part. It's really easy to be able to identify your early game and your mid game because you deal with it all the time. But late game strategy and how you go up against a Phantom Lens or how you're going to be able to deal with that's a little bit different. And Power Rangers, while they did really well early on, just could not finish it off. And you know, that just goes with a little bit more experience, a little bit more time together, playing together a little bit more. They're definitely looking really, really good, and they should be proud of the way they took down pretty much one of the top teams in the Western scene right now. Rattlesnake is performing so well, have been winning lots and lots of games, so they should be proud of the way they almost took down Kaipi.
Yeah, I fully agree. We were talking about that for a little while. They are normally a hit and miss team, but it seems like they've kind of found their balance slightly. They've kind of found their strength, and well, we have seen mostly good games from them this season. Last season it was really hit or miss, and you know, not that stable, but they have been stable, and it shows in a very entertaining way. On top of that one, I mean, kills might not been have not been that much. It's 12-23 in the end. But I think they have not lost the fans they gained yesterday completely. I think that's fair to say. We are, of course, not going to have more games today. Today is going to be over for Star Series. There were only 2 games today. Tomorrow we'll have more games for Star Series, though. We are actually having 4 games tomorrow, starting at 1800 CEST time. Poseidon versus Rockskiss, then Menace versus Power Rangers, Menace versus Rattlesnake, Aspera versus Power Rangers. Those will be our games for tomorrow. As you might have noticed, and maybe some people remember, there used to be a Fnatic versus Na'Vi in there, but that game is actually going to be postponed, so that's why I didn't call that one out. So 4 games tomorrow. On this channel, you will of course be able to see those again on this channel as well. You'll be able to see 2 other games starting at 1400 CST time, because of course we're going to have the Rapture Gaming League once again for 2 games tomorrow. And we'll see... which games will we see actually? We will see... a Rattlesnake versus Rising Stars, and this time I actually mean, of course, the Chinese Rattlesnake. It might actually be the last time that they will appear in Rattlesnake. Sorry, in the Rapture Gaming League, because of the Ace tournament. They might be, well, basically told that they cannot do that anymore. They cannot play that anymore because of the rules from Ace. And the other game will be Impervious versus Mineski. So those will be the games starting at 1400 tomorrow. Make sure you tune in then. And of course, if you want to stick around for watching some commercials and support us that way, then you're welcome to. And otherwise, have a good night. Oh, any shoutouts or plugins? I forgot that almost.
Yeah. The Dota Capitalist on my Twitter at Dota Capitalist, and same goes with Twitch, which I just turned on my stream. I'm probably going to be doing some pubs, maybe some NEL. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm going to do a little streaming after this. So go over there and check that out if you're interested. Yeah, I would post a link in chat if you will. That's probably the best way to get people to realize where they have to go. And, yeah, I might... Nah, probably won't actually play. We'll see. Still have a cold, still have to fix that. Anyways, I'm gonna be playing some commercials while making some VODs. And that's what I'm gonna do. So, thank you for watching. Of course, also follow our statsman on Twitter, as you just saw that pass by, at Nahaz Dota. He has provided us with stats over the last week or so. And hopefully will continue to do so. So follow him. And follow me on @Shiver Gaming. And, well, we'll be back tomorrow. Have a good night.